Welcome to the Men Unplugged Show. Get ready to plug in and recharge your life, family, and career while igniting your faith in Christ. Now, here's your host and champion of helping men live with passion and purpose, Jeff Jerina.
Hey, how's it going? Jeff Jerina here, and welcome to episode 30 of the Men Unplugged Show, the podcast where you get free coaching on key topics by the best coaches around. Thank you so much for tuning in to this podcast episode. I really do appreciate it. You're in for a special treat today, as I have 2 Monday Mix episodes rolled in to one show. You're going to hear from a scholar and an athlete. How often does that happen, right? Paul Pettitt, professor at Dallas Theological Seminary and author of the book, Dynamic Dads, as well as Brett Carroll, a former Major League Baseball player whose first home run, now get this, was against Hall of Fame pitcher Randy Johnson. Now, before we jump into those conversations, I want to tell you about our new contest giveaway, a chance for one U.S. listener to win a book written by Dennis Rainey, my guest on Thursday's show, and one Men Unplugged t-shirt. If you're an international listener, you can win a $25 Amazon e-gift card. Now, to enter the giveaway, visit the Men Unplugged Facebook page and open the top post that says giveaway alert. And you have to do that by Friday, May 11th. All right, let's recharge. Paul, let's hit it right now with the Monday Mix. Okay, first question. What are some activities that you do to stay engaged with your kids, or if they're old enough, what have you done in the past to stay engaged with them?
Let me say 3 things. One is with my sons, golfing. We did a lot of golfing, and since I had 3 boys, then I had my foursome. So we were good to go
that
there.
is good.
But the problem is sometimes I'd be out there golfing, or I'd be talking about golfing, I'd see my 2 daughters, and I'd be like, man, they're not golfing with us. That's kind of a deficit. So a couple of times I went to a very powerful event called the Father-Daughter Summit. It's just a whole weekend of just a dad and a daughter, and they had activities and times.
Man, you got to tell me more about that.
Just a father-daughter summit. And then third is family camp. If you can go to family camp, that's a week of camp. And we've been out to Horn Creek in Colorado. It's now run by Sky Ranch.
Okay.
So if you can go to like a family camp, wherever you're at in America or in the world, there's a lot of Christian groups that have the weekend family camps or the week-long family camps. And those are memories that you'll never forget. Going horseback riding, whitewater rafting, climbing. So that's a powerful memory.
What has been your biggest barrier to communication with your wife, and how have you guys worked through it?
I think just saying I love you, saying I'm proud of you. Again, my father was physically present, but he wasn't really emotionally, over the top. And a lot of guys are like that. It's hard for guys to say I love you or I'm proud of you. So probably just fighting through that and saying, if I don't tell my kids I love you, if I don't tell my wife I love you, who's gonna do that?
Right.
And then sometimes just hugging my daughter, when she's 2 or 3 years old, that was fun, But then when they get to be like 16, 17, am I supposed to hug them? Am I supposed to kiss them on the cheek? It got pretty awkward. But again, as a father, I've got to fight through that and say, hey, you look beautiful today. I'm so glad you're my daughter. And so those are probably some struggles for me of pushing through those barriers that I'd set up in my own mind.
Well, they're probably going to be pushing it in a different way, right? Because a lot of times you're embarrassing me, Dad, or they have all these different feelings. And like you said, you have to be the one that battles through and said, no, I'm your father.
Yeah.
And I love you, so this is what we're going to do, right?
That's right. Yeah. I love you. I'm proud of you. I'm glad you're my daughter. And so even if they, guys, when they're 8, 9, 10 years old, they're like, hey, Dad, you can drop me off down the street, man.
Right.
I don't need to.
Well, my daughter's doing that now at 7 when I drop her off. I was like, well, I'm going to help you put your backpack up there and give you a hug. No, it's embarrassing. I go, why is it embarrassing that I'm showing you that I love you?
Yeah.
How is that embarrassing?
It's just the stage they go through and I want to be a big girl. I want to do it on my own.
Right.
But we have to push through that. And it sends those subtle little messages, always going to be here for you. I'm not going anywhere. I tell my wife sometimes, hey, even if we're arguing or we're having a disagreement, we're going to grow old together. I'll say that to her. No, we're going to grow old together. So it's just that reassurance. I'm not going anywhere. You're stuck with me.
Oh, that's really cool. I like that. What is God showing you right now, Paul, in your own personal devotional time?
I think forgiveness. And just even when we blow it, God forgives us, and it's ongoing. He remembers our sin no more. He casts our sin into the sea of forgiveness. And so even though I work at a seminary where everybody there's holy, they all walk on the water, they all know Greek and Hebrew and theology, we're still fallen.
Right.
So we're forgiven in Christ, but we still live out this life on earth. And so knowing that, and positionally, I'm free in Christ. Practically, I'm going to blow it time to time, but I still have that forgiveness.
Well, it does say that in the Word. It says, "For there's no one righteous, no, not one, and for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God." But the beauty of it is this, Romans 5:8, as you know, for while we were still sinners, God sent His Son, Jesus Christ, to die on the cross for us. And all we have to do is believe and trust in Christ, and we have that free gift of salvation.
Believe and receive.
Absolutely. It really is amazing. Okay, last question of the Monday Mix. What's been the coolest vacation that you can remember that you and your family took?
Well, just me and my wife would be Israel. We've been to Israel, and that's amazing.
I want to go there.
If anybody gets a chance to walk where Jesus walked, man, it'll blow your circuits. But then probably as a family, those Colorado trips where Monday you're going whitewater rafting, Tuesday you're mountain climbing, Wednesday you're riding horses.
Right.
Maybe you're riding those four-wheelers.
Yeah, how can you not love that?
So I find that growing up in Kansas, it was kind of flat, kind of plain, and going to Colorado is just really beautiful. Yeah. So probably as a family, and then we've gone to Florida a couple times, Destin on the beach. That's a lot of fun.
We go right near there during the summer, Santa Rosa Beach. I've shared this, the last 3 different shows that we've done, somebody has said the same thing around Destin. I'm like, maybe we need to keep quiet on that. We don't want to give the secret out.
There's a lot of families that have discovered Destin, so it's getting pretty popular and pretty crowded.
Paul, thank you for taking the extra time to be part of the Monday Mix show.
Thanks for having me, Jeff. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, that wraps up this portion of the Monday Mix. Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to hear from Brett Carroll, former Major League Baseball player, on his portion of the Monday Mix show. Hey guys, I want to give you a sneak peek into the podcast this Thursday. I'll be talking with Dennis Rainey, co-host of the radio program, Family Life Today. We're going to be chatting about Family Life's first movie, Like Arrows, which is showing in select theaters this week on May 1st and 3rd. To find out more about it, go to the resources page at menunplugged.net or likearrowsmovie.com. All right, let's jump into my conversation with Brett Carroll on the Monday Mix portion of his interview. What are some activities that you do right now to stay engaged with your kids?
So usually on Fridays right now, I've got a 3 and a 2-year-old. We consistently try to go to like Chick-fil-A on Friday. Who doesn't love Chick-fil-A? So that's kind of our time to spend, let them play. I typically don't work at the facility, the business, on Fridays, but I do some stuff from home. So it's kind of a time where I've got some flexibility and that we can spend together. And I also like to take them up there. I've got kind of a warehouse space that I can let them run around and play, and just to try to, that's kind of our time to go. Gives my wife a little break and we can hang out together. So let them burn some energy.
Hey, anytime they can come home tired, it makes it a lot better. It really does. So what has been the biggest barrier to communication with your wife? And Brett, how have you guys worked through it?
What I experienced was a sense of rejection. And so my wife has a sense of abandonment. And so when you work with that and like a problem arises or something gets triggered, or that you kind of tendency to either she's kind of fight or flight, right? And so she usually wants to flight and I want to go, no, I want to work this out, because my experience was it was mostly, flight and so I think that's a barrier, and just learning to really hear what each other are saying and where you're coming from, to not only to extend empathy to each other, even if it's something you may disagree upon, but be able to actually say, here's what I hear you saying, like, and to acknowledge their, like, value their presence in that. I think that's what I'm learning through it, and just better ways to communicate and define what we're actually, what our issue is. I have a tendency to want to suppress things, but to be able to really just share, like, hey, this is how I perceive this. And we can struggle, you can miss each other, and get disconnected, and but to really hone in on, okay, what's my wife, what's she really needing here, or what's she communicating to me? Because like I said earlier too, I tendency I want to be defensive, right? I don't like to. Adam and Eve, they first thing they covered up, right? I don't want to. So I think that's just a barrier, and to truly extend grace to each other. And I think that's what provides more intimacy, and just as far as just our friendship, it's easy to get sidetracked on that. So,
well, I tell you, you're speaking to me on that, because I have a tendency to be defensive too, trying to explain why I do something instead of just, like you said, empathize. I can appreciate that.
And that goes along. Yeah. My wife, it goes a long way. I mean, I've really realized that, like, because my wife was like, you just speak tender to me. Like she's a pretty independent, strong-willed woman. And so I kind of think that's the level she wants to be on, is I'll be, and instead of like, what she really wants is for me to approach her with tenderness and to hear her and to not dismiss her feelings. And I have a tendency to do that. And that's when she gets, upset and frustrated. And then I get frustrated because I'm like, why are you frustrated at me? Like, why, I need to, it's just so and then if she leaves the room, then I feel rejected. It's just, it's crazy. Like I'm a 30-year-old man. Like but your spouse has probably knows things about you no one else knows, that where that's the most intimate relationship, or should be. Outside of the Lord, of course, that they can have a way. Their words can mean. Someone at work can be like, "I think you stink as a coach." Okay, all right. I hate that you feel that way. I don't mean, right. But my wife's like, she doubt. Like you just, it's interesting how when you become one, that they have that opportunity to really kind of hurt you, wound you with your words, and I do the same thing. That's powerful, I think, and we're learning through that. Because that's something that, now that you said earlier too, like our kids, they're watching, and it's real important of how we speak to each other and how we air our differences the right way. So,
well, you've said something that was so true there. My wife knows more about me probably than anybody, that she could just literally just bury me so quick,
Yeah, 100%.
I'm like, man, and I'll get on to the next question, but it just makes me realize with my wife, I'm like, I didn't realize that was that bad. And it's not that my wife is calling me out on it. It's just that after conversations,
they know the real us.
Yeah. And I'm like, wow, I've got a long ways to go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. What is God showing you right now through your own personal devotional time?
I know that I'm not trying to sound broken, right? But the secondary issues, it's easy as as a business owner, you wear a lot of different hats, and that can kind of take up your time and energy, and you're pouring into people, and then you have a home life where it's first and foremost trying to pour into your wife and your kids, and you're getting pulled. And there's all those things are important things. Some things, it's not that all things are bad things, right? There's
right.
Just, is it? Like what when Jesus says, "I'm the author and perfecter of your faith," like lay off this sin or things that hindrance. Like there's certain things that hinder you that aren't necessarily sinful things. They're just, there's time consuming there or something that's. And so for me, I think it's really something where I feel like the Lord's like, hey, we got to get back to consistently more of the primary here and seeking me first, and all the secondary things will be added to you. Meaning not health, wealth, prosperity, just meaning, hey, those things will find great purpose and more intentional time by really spending that time with me first. So just that's, and you said earlier too, in the emotional side, in regards to really like, man, like God does really care about me. Like he really actually, he because of Jesus, he does celebrate me in a way, not where I'm awesome, but just can delight. Like he sees us as a royal priesthood. He sees us as chosen. He sees us as adopted, like to really believe that, and not the other way. So,
well, I like that verse that you were bringing in there. Hebrews, I looked it up here. I know you know it.
Yeah.
Hebrews 12:2. Looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and thus sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. I love that. I really do. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's flip the coin here. Let's go a little bit more lighthearted question here. What's been the coolest family vacation that you, your wife, and your two daughters have taken so far?
Oh, I'd love to say something really cool and exciting. We went down to 30A, down in Rosemary Beach.
Dude, you're talking to me, man. I go to Santa Rosa Beach.
Yeah, there you go. So I thought that was cool. I was always grew up on more on the East Coast. Beaches, Hilton Head, but she was always, she always went down to 30A area. So we've experienced that.
Well, I'll tell you what, we are tracking the same thing here because we usually go down the last 3 summers, with the exception of last summer because Eli was born. We've been going to Santa Rosa Beach right there off of 30A. And I told my wife, look, we got to go back this summer. That's like, I feel like we're giving away the secret on the show, like this hidden place. And I'm like, maybe I need to cut that part out on the show. But
it is a good spot.
I didn't know that there were spots in Florida that had white sand and blue water. I had no idea.
I know. It's like the Truman Show down there too. It's like,
yeah, exactly. That's very good.
I think it was the Truman Show. Yeah, everything's just like, white and it was a good. I liked it. I liked it a lot.
I'm going to tell you right here real quick before we get into the last question. Not this past summer, the one before that, there was a gentleman I was talking to on the beach. He was telling me that there's a guy that's down there selling ice cream right off the water where it hits the sand, that little hard spot, I guess, on the beach. I don't know what you call that. And he made something like $90,000 in 3 months.
Wow.
Selling Nestle Crunch and drumstick bars.
That's crazy.
it's
amazing.
I'm like, man, I need to be doing that. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the last.
Men unplugged ice cream selling.
Hey, I love it, man. I love it. I'm going to do it. Okay. Here's the last question. What's the funniest practical joke that you've played on someone or that's been played on you?
Well, I'll tell you one that I've got in my mind that, so we were in St. Louis, and I was in one of not my rookie season, my second year, but so I'm still young in regards to the team dynamic, and have some older guys. Typically, if you've got some veteran guys, they always take care of the young guys. Meaning when you go out to dinner, Luis Gonzalez, if you remember, he was a great player.
Yes,
he bought me a few suits in New York just really.
Dude, that's cool.
Kind. Great teammate. And so some guys we played a day game, I think in Colorado, going to St. Louis. We get to St. Louis, we go to, a really nice restaurant, and the joke had been a couple of guys were giving me a hard time, like that a couple of the older guys, Wes Helms and Nate Robertson would pay for that they would that I was mooching off them all the time. And I would always offer, hey, let me pay for my own meal, or let me pay for my own meal, pay for my own meal. You guys don't have to feel like you have to treat me like, let me treat you. And so they would just it kind of grew to where they're like, oh, BC's, he's mooching again. Like so we were on the plane, and I said, you know what? Hey, I'll take you 2 guys, others can join, but I'm picking your meal up. And so we go to the restaurant. Well, come to find out there's about 8 other guys came. And so we've got a big table, it's a nice little steakhouse. I knew the bill was not going to be cheap. And so, they're egging it on, like, oh man, this is going to be so expensive and this and that. And I'm like, no, it's okay. And so the guy comes and gives the bill to me. So I don't even flinch. They're waiting to see that if I'm really going to actually go through and pay, because it was the whole table at this point, right?
Oh,
so it wasn't just those 2 guys. So now it became the whole table, and they really thought that and so I'm, of course I'm in the back. I'm like, oh man, I hope they don't make me pay for this. But so the guy comes, gets my card, goes back, and they're kind of like they're acting like, man, he's really going to do it. And so he comes back and goes, I'm sorry, sir, there's no funds. Like, he was basically trying to say, like, there's nothing on the card. And I was like, no, I know there's money on. I know what this is. I know there's money on there. And so they started laughing. Well, he actually did swipe it, and so they then all of a sudden were like, oh shoot, this joke really went bad, because I don't know if you want to know the amount, but it was expensive. And so I remember
tell me the amount. Well,
it was a $1,700 meal.
Oh man.
So in that moment, it was like, obviously get to the major leagues. I mean, financially it's very beneficial, but like that's a lot of money.
That is a lot of money for one meal.
For one meal, like one meal. And so I remember leaving, and they're now like, oh man, like they thought, that kind of joke went south. And hey, we'll repay you this. And I said, no, I mean, I wanted to pay for them because they've taken care of me many times. Just not my other 9 teammates that joined, or 8, whatever it was that joined in. So I thought, that was a food meal. Like it tasted good, but I thought my pockets, that's not good. So
what was what was the deal with the swipe? Did it actually go through finally?
Yeah, I don't know what the guy was doing. I think he was supposed to act like he swiped it and not really go through with it. They were going to take me. They were going to take me up to the climax of the story and then bail me out, and it didn't happen. So I ended up actually paying for everybody, and I got reimbursed it. So.
Oh man, yeah, that is an I don't think I've ever spent $1,700 on a meal before. So that wraps up the Monday Mix here with Brett Carroll. Brett, thanks again for coming out on the Monday Mix and the podcast episode. Thank you, sir. Great job.
Jeff, thank you. I appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Well, that wraps up today's podcast. Thank you again to Paul Pettitt and Brett Carroll for being part of the Monday Mix portion of Men Unplugged. Their full interviews will be available as separate episodes in the next few weeks. And don't forget to go to the Men Unplugged Facebook page to enter our contest giveaway for a chance to win the book, Stepping Up, and a Men Unplugged t-shirt. And if you're an international listener, you'll have a chance to win a $25 Amazon e-gift card. Until next time, stay plugged in and recharged. God bless.
Thanks for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. There's plenty more to see at menunplugged.net, including key resources and ways to engage with Jeff in his training and speaking forums. While there, don't forget to subscribe and receive a free gift. We look forward to you joining us next time here on the Men Unplugged Show.